Hi, I'm Nyesha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
Welcome back to another segment of All Politics is Local with your host, rJo Winch. And of course, I'm always here with the host of The Relationship Show, Lori. See, she thought I forgot what it was.
No,
How could I possibly
not.
forget?
I didn't think
you know, and then during the last segment of the show, for you all, any of you who are tuned in, we kind of touched on a little bit about government, and as a working mom, and you worry about taking your kids to school and all the activities that you have to do with your children. What is it that your government could possibly do for you?
So let me just be very clear with my questions, and I think I could relate to a population, like you said, of women who are working, who are managing their home, and who don't necessarily spend a lot of time reading, watching TV. They're just always on the go. I want your opinion. In the last 3 or 4 months, what has taken place in our great city of Hartford that I would need to know in preparation for the upcoming elections? Help me get the key points so that as I make my decision of voting, I have the best information in advance so that I can make the best decision voting.
Yeah, I think that the things that are going on in Hartford are just like any other urban cities and towns. We all have the same problem. I was just in Springfield, Massachusetts. They were talking basically about the same thing, that the everyday grassroots person doesn't see how their voice is heard in their city government. So one of the things that we have to understand, first, your voice is heard. Every time you go to the voting poll, your voice is heard. But that is just the beginning of going to the polls. Once a person is in office, now you have that additional responsibility to let them know how they're doing. So this is representative government in every city, in every town, Hartford, Springfield, any other city and town in the United States of America. When you have an urban setting, we're mostly the people who don't want to get involved in our government, but we're the people who need government most. So we have to make sure that the person sitting in the chair understands our needs, understands our likes, our desires, and what it is that we want from this representative government that we possess, that we go out and vote for. And if you're not a registered voter, get yourself registered to vote, so make sure that your voice is going to be heard. Because what I found out when I was sitting in the chair of government, which was a very, very eye-opening experience for me, because government, once I was the government, was not what I thought the government was until I got there. And I go, whoa, this is not what I thought government was. So I made my my mark and try to work on community stuff and make sure that the right people in the community got the services that they needed. And then thus the establishment didn't like the fact that I was working on the grassroots.
Right.
So then they want to do what they want to do, so they get the grassroots to work against you. And so then the grassroots suffer for the next 4, 6, 8 years until they wake up and go, well, wait a minute, this is the person that we need to have, or this type person that we need to have, sitting in the chair who works for us, the person who speaks our language, understands what we understand, understands our needs. So as a regular, everyday grassroots mom, working person, you take care of your children, you need to be learning about your local government or somebody in your community who you want to be your government. Like maybe your neighbor next door does a really good job at, working with the kids and helping people and bringing food to people and engaging. And every time you need that person, they're there. That would be the perfect person to be elected to office, because you have that kind of person sitting at the table where the decisions are made. They're always going to make decisions in your favor. When you have a corporate government working for the grassroots, they only think corporate. They only know what the corporation wants, what the what the money people want, what the people who making over $100,000, what they want. And that's what they see. So as they're governing and putting laws together, that's how they think.
Right.
They think, well, okay, this would be a great idea because, Joe Schmo will make X amount of dollars doing this, and these people will get disservice, whatever it is. Like take trash cans, for instance. When I was on the council, one of the biggest things that were going on was with the trash cans, because the city of Harvard required residents to replace the trash cans. You got to buy them. But the trash
Buy
cans...
them?
Yeah.
How do you... Wait a minute. In Hartford, they have to buy their trash cans.
If your trash can get, broken up, torn up,
but
whatever,
initially
you got to replace that trash can. But the trash can says property of the city of Hartford. So why are residents buying city property?
Right.
If it's a property of the city, then the city should replace it at no cost to the resident.
Right.
Why are the residents paying for that? So, and that was became a very, very big issue, that residents were bringing forward. Okay, well, if it's your property, why am I replacing it? Because it wasn't people who were tearing up trash cans. It was the city's equipment that were tearing up the trash cans, or it was the squirrels, rodents were like digging holes in the top of the cans and getting out the trash. So it wasn't the residents who were tearing up the cans, it was the rodents, or it was the city themselves tearing up the trash cans. But when the trash can got broke, they wanted the residents to buy new trash cans, i.e. I bought 3 of them for $99.
What?
Yeah. So it's like, okay, I'm a resident and I pay taxes. What do I get for my taxes?
Wow.
I get trash cans, okay, then if they get tore, replace the trash cans. So that was one, incident. And the other thing that people always commonly think about, they don't think about the school system as being political. It's very political. If you have a community school, a magnet school, a charter school in your community, trust me, that's political. Because who determines what school goes in your neighborhood?
Right. What is the process?
The politicians decide what schools goes into your neighborhood.
They have a meeting, they sit there and they say, okay, here's town A. We're going to create a magnet school, for example. What steps are in place to make that happen?
Well, people will come in and say, let me give you a real example that's going on right now. They're building these playground areas. I was over at the Blue Hills NRZ meeting. They want to this company wants to come in and build this playground area. And what they do is, it's a playground area that has basketball, football, and soccer. So it's a field that they build. But what they do is, which is a very neat thing that they do, is that they use this field for their classroom. Because, children like sports.
Right.
So the hook is get the child to come in to play the sport.
Right.
While you have them in to play the sport, now you teach them about discipline. You teach them about teamwork. You teach them about commitment. You teach them about, self and self-esteem. The problem with the whole plan is that it's going to cost the residents of the city of Hartford $1.7 million. How many residents voted on that?
Or knew about it.
Or know about it.
Right.
Or knew about it.
And how many residents are actually going to be able to take advantage of it?
Well, once it's a program of the city, then, whatever and it has a basketball court, so whatever your basketball teams are, tournaments are, they'll be able to, make use of it, the field. But the thing is, somebody got to do the scheduling.
That's right.
But more importantly than that, this is $1.7 million of your taxpaying dollars of a city that's $70 million in debt, and the mill rate is 73%. So is that the best use of my taxes?
No.
You see?
I'll tell you that right now. No.
I love the part about the field.
Yeah.
I love the fact that the people will have opportunity to do that. But I would love more if my city took that $1.7 million and hired residents of the city. Mm-hmm. I would love that a whole lot more. Mm-hmm. And I think that would go a lot further, because I understand what the long-term process is, but I think right now in the city that's more than double digits for the last 5 years of unemployment, that money would have been better to have residents of the city working for their municipal government.
Right. Wow.
Because in our city, I don't know about other cities and towns, but in the city of Hartford, I will tell you that the majority of people who make 6 figures are those who don't reside in the city of Hartford. And that's a dismal reality that people need to get their heads around. So as the lay people start talking about what can my government do for me, you need to make sure that you're employable. Make sure that when you go to your city hall and apply for jobs, that you can actually get those jobs. Mm-hmm. Because you want to make sure that you're able to receive, some of those workers. You want to be able to receive those benefits, and the city should be only advantaged by hiring its own residents, because look at your residents have to pay taxes. Right. So when you write that paycheck, you're getting 7% of that back. Mm-hmm. coming right back to you for property tax, for your car and your house. So you're getting that kind of taxes right back to you. Every time you cut a paycheck, part of it coming right back to your pocket. If you're running your government right. So, and government is not chaotic. People think government is this big, bad monster. It's not. Government is just like running your household. And basically, you know, it's a household.
A check and balance system that's designed to mutually agree on whatever decision has been made, but not trying to jeopardize the overall, you know, I'm trying to think of the words. But the government's supposed to be of service to me as a constituent. It should not be this, like you said, this big monster that's going to take away and limit my benefits or, you know, make my living a hell. It's supposed to be an incentive to help me be able to
Actually, you employ your government. Your government works for you. You are the employer.
But people don't see it that way, rJo.
Well, and that's the message that we need to let people understand. You don't work for your government. Your government works for you. When you go to the polls and put your line, your dot, however it is that you vote in your community, in your city, your state, however it is that you vote, you are employing that person to do a job. That means if I employ you to do a job, I become your boss.
Right.
So your council, your mayor, your any legislator who is elected, your boards of ed, they all work for you. You went to the voting polls and cast your votes to give that person an opportunity to represent you. So if they're not representing you, then you got to let them know, hey, you know, I went out and cast my vote to elect you to do a job for me. I'm not being represented. You know, my child, the school needs attention. What are you going to do about it? You know, the police department. What are you going to do about it? Crime is rampant. You know, what do you do about it? Is laws the problem? Is more neighborhood policing the problem? You know, let's identify what it is that we can do to correct the situations that we're having around crime. And because crime is not only happening in Connecticut, it's happening in Massachusetts, New York, Vermont. It's happening all over the country. And a lot of times when crime is high, it's because unemployment is low. So people have to eat, so people start stealing stuff that they can sell to buy grocery, to put food on the table, to do whatever it is they need to do. Unemployment is high.
Yeah,
employment is low, meaning people don't have jobs.
Right.
So and one of the things that I was so happy to have an opportunity to do when I was on the council is to write a resolution to eliminate barriers to employment. Like if you had gotten in trouble and you had been arrested at some point in time, the city can no longer deny you an opportunity for making an application to be employed just for that one reason, because now you had a criminal record. A lot of people are excluded from the police department, 19, 20 years old. They got arrested for like shoplifting or something stupid, because kids are stupid. When you're young, you're stupid. When I was young, I was stupid. I hope that I'm smarter now, but I was an idiot, when I was young, because that's how young people think. So I'm 40 years later, and now I want to join the police department, and they're going to bring back up, oh, when you were 19, you stole a cookie from so-and-so. Like, okay, that's 40 years ago.
Right.
I have not done anything in those other, 41 years, and you're still going to be denied this opportunity. See, those are the kind of things that are ridiculous.
Right. What about the police force? What is the oldest age that you can become a police officer? Do you know?
I think it's 35. Don't quote me on it, though, but I think it's 35.
Okay.
I think it is. So here we are. Another segment has come and gone. Make sure that you all tune in often to All Politics is Local. Today we're talking about you employing your government, because that's exactly what you do when you go to the voting polls. Be an informed voter. Government is not a big monster. You control the government. Get involved. And we'll see you next time here on Channel 8 on All Politics is Local.